A lo Kim Kardashian, mi amor. Contouring. Boom! Boom! Cześć ludzie! What's up, people? Hola! VIGO'S here. Welcome to another episode. I have made many videos about Latinos. I have done Latino secrets, Latino myths, things that Latinos don't understand about Europeans, Polish and Latino cultural differences, why Latinos and Polish make great couples, and I am sure that if we look closer, we're gonna find more videos that have the Latino theme running across. If we look deeper into the topics that I cover on this YouTube channel, we're gonna find relationship things, mostly mixed relationship, some parenting stuff like raising children in multiple languages. We have videos about Poland or videos about Europe, videos about Dominican Republic or Latin America. And I think it's fair to say that most of these topics fall under the umbrella of multiculturalism. Both me and my wife live a very multicultural lifestyle, and it's something that we are really interested in. It really fascinates us. Today's episode was born out of a conversation, or one of many conversations, that my wife and I have had about what it is to be from a certain country or from a certain culture. So in her case, she has lived the Latino reality. She lived in Dominican Republic for a year. She keeps coming back to Dominican Republic. You know, she's been married to me for almost 10 years. I think she has a deep understanding of what it is to be a Latino. So today we're gonna find out how is it to be a Latino according to my Polish wife. The first thing on her list is to never say no. If you haven't had any experience with Latinos, you probably don't know about this. We are famous for not really wanting to turn you down. It's hard for us. It's difficult to just say to someone, I'm sorry, man, I really cannot help you. You're gonna have to find someone else. That is such a hard thing for Latinos to do. Why? Well, for the most part, I think it's because in our type of cultures, it's seen as if you're not accommodating, as if you are not even giving it a try. Plain and simple, you come off as a rude person. Whereas in European cultures, I don't know about Asian cultures, I've yet to discover that part of the world, but in European cultures, I think it's fairly normal to say to someone, hey, listen, I don't have time. Because you know your schedule, you know if you can and you know if you cannot. And it's even more rude to agree to something and then not follow through, which is the part that is bewildering to people like my wife, because many times a Latino will tell you, okay, yeah, of course, let's do it. Already in his mind, he's thinking, or she, how they're gonna get away from that. Start acting as if they know what you're about and they know what you're doing. Dime, Julio, ¿qué es lo que? Nada, aquí haciendo ahora en YouTube para irme para el cumpleaños. Ah, ¿cómo fue? Una bola. Después de... Ok, sí, mi hermano, claro que sí, no hay problema, claro, está bien, yo te llevo, ok. Mierda, ¿y cómo yo me salgo de ese maldito lío? So yes, Latinos are extremely flaky, and that is one of the big reasons, because we just cannot say no. Number two, and this one is really hard to even admit why we do it. We usually leave when we are ready.
I'll leave when I'm good and ready.
The concept of time in the Latino cultures is a little bit shaky. We are aware of time. Yes, we use scheduled meetings. We agree with people to meet at a certain hour, but nobody ever really expects you to be there at that hour. Something super famous in Latino, at least in a Dominican culture. You guys can tell me if you are from, I don't know, Bolivia, or if you're Argentina or whatever, if you lived in Brazil, just let me know if I'm wrong. I don't think I will. If you have a party and you invite everyone to come to the pub or to your place or whatever, let's say at 8 o'clock, you are not really expecting anyone to be there any second prior to, let's say, 8:30, 8:45. In Dominican Republic, possibly will be 9 o'clock before the first person turns in. Hey, ¿a qué hora dice la invitación, que es el cumpleaños? A las 8. Son las 8:15. 20 minutos estamos ahí. Está bien, ahí no va a llegar nadie antes de las 9. Vamos a echar televisión mientras tanto aquí. When Carolina, my wife, was living in Dominican Republic, I remember this was, I'm gonna say, maybe she will say in the comments, but I think this was one of the hardest things for her to understand and grasp. I've had to really learn to swim upstream here in Europe to get rid of this, Latino-ness. I'm on time now. I'm Europeanized now. The third thing that, according to my wife, is you have to always dress the part. You all don't know this because we are living in the era of Instagram and TikTok, and everyone is always super fashionable because they don't know when they're gonna take the next selfie. But back in the day, before all of this, Latinos were famous for always looking the part. From the bottom to the top, dressed to the T. Latinas always had the hair done. Que yo me voy a poner para ese cumpleaños. Está mi vestidito, color vino. Aquí está. Ay, mi amor, tú vas a ver cómo yo me voy a ver cuando llegue ese cumpleaños. A lo Kim Kardashian, mi amor. Contouring. Once again, this is my wife's list, so I have to make reference to her experiences. She gets dropped into this reality where women are wearing, 4-inch heels almost everywhere they go, and super tight dresses and cleavage and makeup. But it's not only the Latinas. The Latinos don't want to fall behind. Come on, baby, ¿qué pasa? The Latino guys are always with a proper haircut or, always smelling nice. We try to wear clothes that is form-fitting, sometimes too form-fitting as of late. A Latino man will never leave his house with unpressed clothes. All cultures have sad songs. Songs that are for reflecting, songs that are for you to connect with your inner emotions. Sometimes that emotion is anger, sometimes it's sadness, but not sad Latino songs. Sad Latino songs you can dance to, and boy do we dance to them. If you take a genre like bachata, right? Bachata has become pretty popular all over the world, and there are, schools in Europe that are teaching you to dance bachata, and it's this sexy dance that you're moving your hips, and it's pretty caliente, right? But did you know that bachata is a music genre that mostly expresses sadness? If you go back to the origins of bachata, those songs were expressing disarray, they were expressing heartbreak. It was a guy just pouring his guts out.
Paso los días soñando, pensando en corazón de este amor.
It was extremely sad, yet the rhythm, it's danceable. And it's so danceable that I don't even think that a lot of people that learn bachata that are not Latinos are aware that they're dancing to mostly sad songs. Of course, not all bachata songs are about heartbreak, but I would say that 95% of them are about some sort of conflict happening. Imagine the same topic being sang by a Slav or by a European band. The last thing on this list, and might be one of my favorites, according to my wife, to Latinos, everything can always use a little bit more salt and a little bit more sugar. My love, can you come here, please? Oh, se ve bueno eso. ¿Y qué es eso? Some rice, some meatballs. Está bueno, sí, pero like it? ¿Tú le echaste sal a eso? Of course I put salt. ¿Tú le falta sal? You eat with too much salt. No, échale sal, échale más sal. More salt? Mamá, échale sal. Pero ven acá, tú le tienes miedo a la sal, échale sal. Déjame. Coño, ahora sí. Ahora sí. You eat with too much salt. No. We are sweet people, but that is a fact. Ask any Latino. I remember the first time that I went to France, a country well known in Europe for their desserts. And I was with a group of Dominicans. We went to a place to try some pastries and stuff, and I still remember looking at them. Hey, ven acá, ¿soy yo o esto como que le falta azúcar? And they were all agreeing with me. We are used to having very sweet things. If you have tried, let's say, bizcocho, the typical cake for birthdays that it's prepared in Latin America, super delicious, but extremely sweet. Now I'm a little bit more used to eating slightly lower in sugar and in salt. Not really. If you see a Latino in the kitchen cooking, that's a sight to be seen. But in all seriousness, I don't mention these things with pride. There is a health concern when it comes to things like diabetes in Dominican society. I believe that around 13% of the population is suffering from diabetes, and around 9% is suffering from pre-diabetes. And when you compare those numbers to countries like Estonia, Latvia, like even Poland, who I believe is like half in percentage-wise, is like around 6%, give or take, it's a big difference. We don't think that this is good, but it's a reality, and probably one of the reasons why the Dominican food and the Latin cuisine is so tasty, because not only has a lot of seasoning, which is also true, but it's also quite high in salt and sugar. Boom! That's all, guys. That's the end of the episode. I hope you liked it. Once again, this came up out of a conversation like so many others that my wife and I have at night. We put our kid to sleep, and then all of a sudden it's like we are two chatterboxes and we're talking about so many deep topics. And you know, as a matter of fact, we have talked about starting a podcast in the future, of course, because we find ourselves enjoying a beer or a glass of wine, and then we're talking, and we kind of like realize this is some deep stuff we're talking here. We should be recording all this. But if it's something you will be interested in listening to, a podcast with me and Vigo's mom, let me know. Maybe we can make it happen sometime in the not so distant future. Anyways, guys, thank you. See you next week. Adios, amigos.